So if you were browsing Google Maps in northern Pakistan, you may have seen this. Bug droid pissing on Apple. Literally. Google has issued a statement to the Washington Post apologizing for the now removed image of a bug droid peeing on an Apple logo in Google Maps. Google spokesperson Mara Harris says, "We're sorry for this inappropriate user-created content. We're working to remove it quickly. We also learn from these issues, and we're constantly improving on how to detect, prevent, and handle bad edits." User-created content, eh? No, I think someone at Google lost their job. So let's start off with Sony's flagship, the Sony Xperia Z4. It's official, at least in Japan. The Sony Xperia Z4 is equipped with a 5.2-inch Full HD LCD panel, and as mentioned before, it is thinner than the Xperia Z3, measuring 6.9mm in depth. Keeping things moving along is the Snapdragon 810 system on a chip, a 64-bit octa-core chipset backed by 3GB of RAM. Internal storage offers just 32GB so far, with the ability to add up to 128GB via a microSD card. Now, the backside of the device offers a familiar 20.7 megapixel shooter, capable of an ISO of up to 12,800, with camera shake correction out of their Boyne's image processor. Video capture is up to 4K or 1080p at 60 frames per second. The front shooter is a modest 5.1 megapixel with full HD video capture. Despite the exposed USB port, the Sony Xperia Z4 is dustproof and near perfect waterproof, and comes with a choice of colors from white, black, copper, and aqua green. Now, for those of you who are looking for a more mid-range option, let's talk the Xiaomi Me 4i. The Xiaomi Me 4i was announced earlier this week, a powerful mid-range device with an impressive price tag of roughly $200. The Me 4i features a 5-inch Full HD display, a Snapdragon 615 octa-core processor, 2GB of RAM, 16GB of onboard memory, a 13 megapixel rear camera, and a dual tone LED flash with a 5.1 megapixel front camera, and with a bevy of software features including Beautify mode. The main camera is the identical 13 megapixel shooter found on the higher end Mi Note, and offers a suite of Xiaomi enhancements to the HDR mode and more. There's also a beefy 3120 mAh battery in the Mi's 4i's 7.8mm thick body, which is actually slightly better than the Mi 4's. This is a dual SIM device, with both slots accepting LTE cards. The Mi 4i is the first Xiaomi device to run 5.0 Lollipop, which includes a number of features designed for the Indian market, like Visual IVR, which simplifies dealing with automated phone systems typically encountered in customer service. It also includes support for 6 Indian languages: Hindi, Bengali, Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, and Malayalam. Now, for those of you in the market for a new Android Wear watch, you'll be happy to know that Android Wear just got a lot more powerful. Android Wear now supports watches with built-in Wi-Fi, and the good part is that the watch doesn't need to be on the same Wi-Fi network as the smartphone. That means, for instance, that you can leave your phone on the charger or on your desk and go on about your day, and still get notifications from it, as long as both devices are connected to the internet. Now let's talk new gestures for apps and contacts. Previously, accessing the apps on your device required several swipes and taps, which made it feel a bit cumbersome. Now getting to the app screen is as easy as tapping on the time, while accessing contacts is done by swiping to the left. Voice commands are now accessible through another swipe. You know that neat handwriting app that Google just launched in the Play Store last week? It lets you convert your scribbling into an emoji, not just letters. And now the same feature is available on Android Wear. So for instance, you can doodle a heart or a smiley face to quickly answer a message with the respective emoji. Pretty sweet. And for those times when you can't use two hands, but you still need to go through your Google Now cards, a new wrist twist gesture will let you do just that. Now, the Samsung Galaxy S6 versus the iPhone 6 battle rages on, and we found a result about which device is perhaps the best gaming device. And the results are not going to be what you think. There's no denying that the Samsung Galaxy S6 and the Apple iPhone 6 are two of the best smartphones on the market right now, not only when it comes to aesthetics, but also performance. Samsung's Exynos 7420 processor backed by 3GB of RAM definitely gives Apple's A8 processor with 1GB of RAM a run for its money. But when it comes to gaming, which device comes out on top? The folks over at Gamebench put the Galaxy S6 and the iPhone 6 to the test to find out which device is the better gaming smartphone. The Gamebench team picked a series of 10 high-end games to run on each device in the hopes to find out which smartphone would run the smoothest while achieving the highest average frame rate. As you can see from the graphic here, Apple's iPhone 6 was the clear winner in this test when it came to performance and overall stability. Gamebench explains. The iPhone 6 tended to run games more smoothly, with a higher frame rate that was very stable and rarely dropped below 30 frames per second. The Galaxy S6 came a pretty close second, with a greater frequency of performance bottlenecks that pushed the frame rate below the 30 frames per second threshold. Ooh, that burns a little bit. Maybe that's where this came from. Thanks for watching, Android Army. My name is Jayce. Love to connect with you right here on Google Plus or Twitter or in the comments below. You don't want to forget about my brethren in Android, Josh, Joe, and the Techninja Kevin, Lon, and Chris, Gary, and Ashton Taylor, all working super hard to be your source for all things Android.